Okay, so we are ready to start. Welcome to a new edition of Low Code Café. This is the 12th episode. A long journey so far, but still such a long journey to go. The main topic for today is about building email templates using visual tools. And if you were in our last webinar, you saw just a glimpse of that. And basically, in last webinar, we started building this new email marketing system with low code. And we started with the basic things, of course, lists, contacts, and so on. But now we are getting to the most interesting part, building rich visual templates and reusing them across campaigns. But until we get to that moment, let me give you a brief introduction of this event for those that are new. And then also show you the agenda that we have for today, as we have a lot more content than just building apps. So this event, Low Code Café, it's a weekly webinar that we are doing for our team and our community. It's a place where we discuss mostly technical concepts. So we demo new features, but we also get into building systems using those features. They are all recorded and you will find them on our YouTube channel. I will post the link on the Slack channel, on the chat window. One interesting thing that we started doing since 2 weeks ago is adding timestamps on those videos, because they are 1 hour in length. So then when you go to those videos, you'll see all the topics listed in the details underneath the video, but also on the timeline. As you hover the timeline, you'll see various chapters of the videos. Our next steps with that is that we're also going to build a library where you can see all the topics in one place, so you can go directly to them regardless of the episode they belong to. So then it will be much more useful to find the particular use cases that you are interested in, or specific features, new features that we demo. So the agenda is pretty much the same every week. We'll have some stories from support, so some hands-on support cases and how we handle them, the solutions that we found. After that, we'll get in the product updates and also see some feature demos. And finally, the bigger part is the hands-on low-code development. I think just before passing the word to Dale, which again, it's a big topic for Dale. He's the main driver behind this initiative. I want to show you the, let me see, the new series of video that we put in place. So if you go to our YouTube channel, this is a different playlist, but if you go to our YouTube channels, maybe drill down to playlist, you'll see that we have a new playlist called Low Code Feature Focus. There are already 7 videos in there, and we keep adding every week. And they are very specific videos, like how to configure the filtering action in Action Grid, to configure it from Action Form, or how to use API endpoint to feed items to a dropdowns. So they are very, very specific and very, very useful. So without going into Dale's subject too much, I will pass the word to him. So stopping my screen sharing. Hi, Dale. You are on mute.
There it is. I was on mute, looking for that button. Okay, let me share my screen. So from the trenches, we're in the trenches this week talking about, we had really a great case come up, and one of the things that I like about it so much is that the community solved the problem. I actually fell short. We had a question from Phil Wegersen, sorry if I butchered that name, but Phil wanted to be able to add a checkbox to a plant and app listing or grid to be able to select records by checkbox. And it turned out that that I couldn't find a solution, but Craig Anderson from our community stepped forward and did find the solution. It was actually something that was on a ticket that one of our Help Center staff, Mihai, found. But it's a from some time ago, brought it forward, and then Phil advanced the solution. So the whole thing was just a nice collaborative effort, and it really turned out to be quite simple and useful. So I thought I would just demonstrate it. So I've done this in a Plantinap grid. This is just a very typical grid, and I've added a grid button, and the ability to select records by a select all. That's optional, but our normal selection mechanism is that you click within the row and it highlights to indicate that it's selected, and as they're selecting, we see the count up here on the button. But they wanted to do a checkbox, something more explicit to let the client know where they were supposed to click. So if you want that kind of functionality, it's really quite easy to do. This will be the subject of a low-code feature focus, so we'll jump, because it's got a couple of copy and pastes that you'll need to make this happen. So let's take a look at that. There's like 3 components to this, and the first is some custom CSS. So if you edit custom CSS, these again developed by Phil and the team together. But if you copy and paste these into your CSS, it's going to be used in some HTML that's going to get these to appear. The next component is if you have because we're going to display a button and it's an image, we're going to look at site assets, and I've created a folder called checkbox that has 2 items in it: a checked item, which looks like this, a nice checkbox. This is obviously a large size, and an unchecked, just a square, empty square that will display. And so both of those were uploaded by site assets into this folder. And we're going to need the URLs to get to those, so you can right click and say get URL. And so I've copied and pasted but the URLs for both of these things and put them aside in my clipboard. So that's the setup: some CSS and a couple of images. And so we'll go to our back to our grid and make the quick edit necessary. So we will customize this listing, and as I do with the demo, sometimes I cheat. I like to have everything on my clipboard so that we're ready to go. What we're going to do is add a computed field, and it's going to be some HTML. So we're going to say allow HTML, and then I'm going to paste my couple of lines. And really all it is 2 images that are classes. One is what's happened is under the class of row is selected, which you'll recognize from the CSS we saw a minute ago. The other is row is not selected. And the URLs to the checkbox. So there's the checkbox, the checked checkbox is, this is the only thing that you have to change: the source parameter for this image and the source parameter for this image. So we have the checked and the unchecked checkboxes. I'm going to change the name of this thing to select and move it to the top and save. So now when we refresh the screen, we get checkboxes showing up here to the left. And if you click into them, it actually does the work. It's because the row becomes selected, it now gives a visual checkbox indication. The select all functionality works, and you can see that the button code works. So it's a really elegant solution, and again, it was a collaborative effort that happened on our as the result of submitting a problem, and so whether it's on our forums or the community forum, this is the kind of thing that we're trying to encourage within the community. The other thing I wanted to mention that happened this week is that we need the DNN Maximum version. We are currently tested all our tools through version 9.6, and we have some known issues with 9.7. So .NET Nuke 9.7, which is out and released, we haven't tested with that yet, and we do have issues. So this just has identified the need that we need to communicate our tested through version, and that's coming. We'll find a way to communicate that, but we want to advise you to look for this tested through version so that you don't install and get issues with our products. As soon as a .NET new release comes out, we start the testing process, but it sometimes, especially if we run into issues, might take some time with our development staff. So look for our tested through version and know not to get past the 9.6 releases until we see an all clear from our team. That's it for today.
Thanks, Dale. I see there are no questions in the chat window, so I'm sure people will get to ask for that code. So when we publish the YouTube channel, on the YouTube channel, the video will probably have links to where you can get the code from the links in the community forum or help center. Cool. So now we are ready to move on to the next part of this webinar, which is about the product. So I invite Dale to take over and introduce us to what's coming and what he can show today.
Hi, everyone. So Reza, Garrow here. Wanted to touch on a few highlights. One, we just released the 1.8. Those modules are available in the DNN Sharp My Downloads section. There'll be the newsletter coming out that has a good rundown of everything that was released, and there was a lot in this release. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple hours, but the modules are there and you can go and start getting them now. To touch a little bit on what Dale had mentioned, there is a kind of a warning message now when you do go to install these extensions that will tell you about the compatibility. And we have some changes coming to the download screen as well, where we'll always be publishing what the maximum or tested version is that these are compatible with. And you know, when I get to 1.9, we'll talk a little bit about DNN 9.7 and what we're doing there. Just a couple quick highlights on 1.8. In the last couple of weeks, I've shown the new KPI dashboard feature. I've shown the sanitized HTML, as well as the one-click upgrade. And so those are all out there and available. I did want to note on one thing that there is, I had alluded to a security feature and enhancement coming in action form. We're going to publish that one out as a hotfix for 1.8. That should be coming soon, just making sure we have some good regression testing and backward compatibility on that. But that'll be available as a hotfix, so we can kind of let that cook for the people who need it or want to try it out now, and then it'll be fully released in 1.9. And speaking of 1.9, we are well underway with it. Some of the highlights of what we're wanting to drop here, there's the new listing module. Bogdan had showed some sneak peeks of that in the past. You'll have that new calendar template, the new grid template that replaces what you see currently in Action Grid, and just is more modern, and will have more flexibility and things that you can do and work in newer browsers and different things like that a lot better. We're going to keep going with the ease of upgrade. What we released in 1.8 is the ability to fully upgrade the app builder and all tested dependencies that go with that, as well as for us to push hotfixes out and you to be able to consume them with one click. So what we're going to get in this release is the ability to add on things that you don't have installed yet, connectors, other modules and things. They'll be listed there for you, and you can just one click install them, and then they're part of the ongoing update process and hot fixes after that. Moving into the, we talk a lot about being a very developer centric platform, and whereas a lot of other systems are targeted at business users, and wanting to really start driving more in the developer experience. And one of those things, and I feel like this, like the one-click update, will be kind of a game-changing type feature, where instead of having to go to the DNN admin logs or search on your server for log files and things, we are adding a new logging section. And you will be able to, especially as a citizen developer, so you won't have to give admin access, which is the only way you can see the DNN admin logs right now. But citizen developers, we're going to bring all of that to you. And so this is really setting the stage for something we talked about maybe a week or two when we were looking at good ways to do logging. And there was that you can log an error, but those really should be for errors, right? And those go in the DNN admin logs. Well, when you use the logging feature, there's an action for that as well. Those go into log files that sit out on the server file and system. And so we're gonna want to be able to bring those in right to you. So now as you're debugging and logging and troubleshooting and just seeing how your app is running, you'll have kind of one place to go and see these things coming in. So right now on 1.9, this is gonna set the stage for that. And by 1.10, we should have all of that fully up and running, but be on the lookout for good stuff there. And then gonna continue rolling out and incrementing features into the dashboard module, including the ability to filter the tiles down. So not just aggregating across an entire entity and everything that's in there, but targeting certain fields and things like that within there. So if you have statuses, you could have a tile for each status of an order flow or something. There's a video that will go out with the newsletter today that shows how to set up the dashboard module as well. And Dale had touched on this, DNN 9.7, there is a breaking change, at least one that we've identified, kind of a showstopper right out of the gates. Some people have encountered this in Support Center. They've deprecated a library that we use in there, but they have a new one. And so we're making the changes to consume that, and we'll be doing a lot of our 1.9 testing in parallel on 9.6 and 9.7 at the same time. And our aim is to be able to fully support and be tested against 9.7.1 when 1.9 goes out, which should have a release candidate for 2 weeks from today is our target. And we'll keep you posted on how that's going. So as always, if there's any questions or anyone wants to help and participate with the 9.7 testing, any of these hot fixes and security features I'm talking about, we really do welcome that and be happy to make these things available to you as they become available past our internal testing.
Thanks, Reza, for the update. Just one thing that I would like to add to that, we'll give up on DNN 8 compatibility. We have a phase-out plan. It will not be out of a sudden. So it will start next month with us not testing on DNN 9.8 when we do releases, sorry, on DNN 8.04 when we do releases. And then beginning of next year, there will not be any standard support for it. We'll still give it under special agreement for 1 more year. So there are some phase-out options. It will not be abrupt. And there will be a newsletter today coming out, and it will also detail this timeline. Cool. So now we are ready to move on to the hands-on part of this webinar, where Radu builds a email marketing system. We started last week by building the basic contact management, list management. In the meantime, as we announced in the last webinar, we do spend some time between webinars to complete those features, make them stable, so we can move to add new features on top of them. And Radu will show us what's been done, and also then we'll continue working on the email templates. So template management, but also the visual building of these email templates.
Okay. Let's start. Cool. Okay, so yes, we kind of redesigned a little bit the entity model. We figured out that it was a little bit too complicated for what we wanted to achieve. So we redesigned it a little bit, and it's actually a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to manage. One thing that you may see that it's missing from the last video is an entity is missing here, one that it was called contact lists, where we are mapping a contact to a list. We got rid of that, and we introduced something else now in the system. It's a new entity called subscribers, which you cannot see at the moment in the menu because it's an entity that it's only for managing in the backend the information, or to be managed through the actions. And let's go really quickly to the entity view, and let's see exactly how this looks. So the new entity subscribers, it's a mix of having a contact and a boolean if it's subscribed or not, and a date, which actually means the last action date, which can mean in this situation the last date that the user subscribed or unsubscribed, because this is going to enable us to achieve something new into the system. Going back to the website, we can see the fact that now if we go to the lists, we have each individual list can have a list of subscribers, but a subscriber doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to get an email. Maybe it's subscribed or not, but you're still keeping history about this those specific email addresses, if they were subscribed to you or not. And continuing on this idea, what I did was on the contact entity, I added a button which is called add contact to list, which is calling a workflow behind the scenes. And what does this do is you can click it and select a list, and then you can add that specific user to that list. And I can go and continue and adding another few here really quickly. Maybe Bogdan, I think you want to be here as well. Okay. And now if I go back to the list, I can see that I've added 4 subscribers. The difference is I didn't add it I don't have a list of contacts to this. I have a list of subscribers, which is an extension of a contact. And if I want to delete someone from my list, I can just click on delete. And if I want to edit a subscriber, I can just go click here on the link and just go edit and unsubscribe. But usually what I'm showing you right now is not something that you're usually gonna do manually. You have other systems, you have unsubscribe links. The emails are being added via an API. You don't handle those lists manually usually. Maybe the employee list, yeah, you can handle manually, but the newsletter list, this needs to happen automatically. And we can come back to this subject maybe in a future episode, but I'm not gonna stress it more than this.
I think Radu would be really interesting to show the workflows behind that.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to. And a difference between the first episode and this one is I've added the second. I actually added the second workflow, add contact to list. And this one actually what it does is it's creating a new entity entry of subscriber type. And I'm just passing as an input parameters, I'm passing the contact, if I want to add this user to the list, subscribed or not, and the last action date, which is actually the date that this workflow is running. After I create the subscriber, I'm just assigning the subscriber to the list itself. And after that, I know that that specific contact through the subscriber entity is assigned to a list. Also, I've added, I did some small modification to the send campaign workflow. Right now, when it starts running, it's updating the start date. After that, it's pulling, and this is a SQL query. I'm not gonna go into details of it, but what it does is it's bringing all subscribers of a specific it's bringing all the subscribers of all the lists that are assigned to a campaign, and that are actually still subscribed to that list. And expanding on that, I'm taking all the distinct email addresses and sending them to the next action. And for each email address, I'm sending the templated email that we have. Cool. I think that those are the main changes that happened. At the moment, we have a very, very basic marketing tool that can supports contacts and assign contacts to any lists of your choice, and the list that then after that can be assigned to a campaign which now you click here and see the template that you are going to send, and click here to actually send the email campaign. So it's very basic. But now I will start I will start with the thing that I would like to show you today, which is our Visual Composer integration, which will allow us to build beautiful email content and actually still support what we did in the first video of tokenizing or basically replacing the content between the square brackets with actual information about the contact. And to do that, I've installed an add-on on this instance. It's called the BeFree integration. And the BeFree integration allows me to use a tool that they provide, which is actually a plugin that will provide me with their Visual Composer inside Action Form. And to do that, I can just go and add the field. I can search for BeFree. Oh, okay, I'm not that free. Oh, I see. And I'm just gonna leave it as it is for the moment, the name, and I'm gonna continue because this specific field needs a little bit of configuration before you start. And the first thing that you can see here is that you'll need a set of credentials for the plugin to work. And you can go to befree.io and click on login and choose the BeFree plugin. You can add, after that, you can add your own application here, but I already have one prepared for this. And I can click on details and I can copy the client ID and the client secret. Okay, I'm just gonna click on manage credentials. I'm gonna add a new group. I'm gonna say plant an app BeFree. It's one word. Add an entry. I'm gonna say live, the client ID, and after that I can just go and choose the client secret. And I can click save really quickly, and now I've set it up. I set up the credential for that. The next thing, and this is actually really important, is the UID. This is actually a user ID that you specify for the plugin to work under, and this is actually for you being able to track the usage, because while the integration is free, it still has some limits, and after you reach those limits, you're gonna start paying for this integration. But the limits are really high, so I won't worry at this point about this. And the idea is that you need to specify an at least string of 5 characters. So I can go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is enough for me. And each time if I'm gonna start getting invoiced, this user ID is gonna pop up on the actual invoice at the end, so you know which user is using the integration the most in your platform. Now, for the initial value, for the moment, I'm just gonna start saving the information. So I'm gonna leave it empty for the moment. And for the rest, for the merge tags, merge contents, and special links, maybe I can come a little bit later in this video and show you exactly how they work. So I'm not gonna touch the other settings. I'm just gonna leave them as they are, and I'm just gonna click save for the moment. Most likely, I'm gonna go into the layout and put the BeFree integration next to the template here. And click save, and let's see what this did to my action form, the form that is creating and editing for me the campaigns. So you'll see. I need to actually refresh the page because I've added a new field that needs external resources. Okay, so you see now the BeFree integration is loading under my template, basic template, and now I'm starting to have a Visual Composer for me to play with and change the content and bring any device anywhere fast now, and I can just add my content here. And the beautiful thing is that it's providing you, this integration is providing you with also a desktop view, so you can preview how your newsletter is gonna show up on different desktop machines, including Windows or Mac or Office or Google or whatever email tool you are using, and even on mobile. it can show you what to expect of this. Cool. All right. So, but okay. So now the idea is that yeah, we can at the moment we can compose beautiful emails. The only idea is that we need at this moment to replace the template that we have, which is a rich text editor, with this be free field. So what we'll have to do is actually I would like to go back to the form, and I want to really specify something that is actually very important. This field works with 2 tokens. So to have it work and to have it used in a configuration, you have to use both of the tokens that this field has, because there are 2 things happening. First of all, the field itself, it's working as an initial value only with the JSON extension. So you need to save the JSON settings of the specific field into the database. And at the moment you want to send an actual email, you'll have to use the HTML value generated on the save. So you'll have, what I'm trying to say is that the campaign, instead of having just one field, one property for the template, at this moment it needs to have 2. So the first thing first, it will be to go to the entity and modify the entity to add another column to save also the JSON, not only the HTML file. So going really quick back to the entities, cool, and going back really quick to the entities, campaign, and what I will need to do now is add the template JSON, and it can be, we can say it's gonna be a large text for the moment. We just want to keep the JSON in a large text field, and I can just click save and overwrite. I did some changes to that form, so don't worry about those warnings. Going back to my, and if I go back really quickly to my campaign view, I can just go here, customize the form. Right, so I don't want the template JSON to be in the form. I don't need to, because I'm just gonna provide it from the B3 integration, and I don't want the template. I don't want the template anymore in here, because I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna use the B3 integration. So maybe the one thing that I can do here, this is gonna get replaced with this. The JSON template is gonna be the actual B3 integration, and we can name this template. So we are mixing those 2 fields together. Cool. And now if we go to the add part, when we are gonna create a new campaign. So the template is gonna be actual, where are you? I forgot how so it's template. Well, maybe I can name this template simple. And going back to the add action, I'm just gonna say, well, the template HTML template is the extension with the extension HTML, and the template JSON is actually the template.json. Cool. So this is for creating, and now for initializing. Well, for adding, we don't need the initializing, and now maybe we should handle also the edit part under the update button. I already changed this from an update campaign to a partial update campaign, because I didn't want the start date and end date to be updated each time. This can become right now a template HTML, and the other one, the JSON one, can become a template JSON. And the only thing we are missing right now is actually initializing this for the edit. Read campaign original. Okay, so this is the original. I see. going here, the initial value here can be original dot template. It's gonna be template JSON. Let me see for the name. So yeah, original and the name of the column. Cool. And I'm just gonna click save. I know there are a lot of modifications in a few minutes, but now, or maybe, you know, before I do the whole thing, maybe, well, let's try creating a new campaign, and we can name this my new campaign. And well, I'm gonna leave the structure for the moment. Well, maybe I can add something here. You know, I did this. Cool. And I can go at the bottom and click add. And I know I left this on purpose. So you see, the idea is that my whole template, it got saved at this moment also as a JSON configuration. It's a huge thing. And maybe we don't really want to show this, and we don't care to show this. What we want to show, and we can find it under this button, is actually the preview of the, and I need to scroll at the bottom, the preview of the template that we have as an HTML option. So this is pretty cool, I think. What I can do at this moment, I can go into the listing module and maybe remove the template JSON because it's huge and I don't really want it. And I can close this, maybe refresh the page really quickly. Cool. So my new campaign has this template, which is cool. And keep in mind that we can still, and coming back to this, keep in mind we are initializing the B3 with the JSON, not the HTML. What we can still do is, let me see if I can find. So we can say here somewhere, maybe hi contact dot first name, and this is gonna get replaced. We're gonna send the email, so we can have personalized emails. But now that we have this, I'm just gonna save it as it is, and you know we are missing the last name. But for the last name, I'm gonna do something different. Let me click update really quickly. And I told you at the start, I would like to come back and show you some different features that I think I entered the wrong module. Well, no, I'm right. I was showing you the merge tags, the merge contents, and the special links. And don't worry about the tokens. I'm gonna come back to those in a few minutes, but now let's focus on the merge tags, merge contents, and special links. So I'm just gonna come, and for the tags, I will just gonna say, let's say contacts, first name, and the value can be this token here, contact first name, add a new one, contact, and let's say this is last name, contact, last name. For the merge content, here, well, let's say my component, you know, yay. For the merge contents, maybe we can add for the in the YouTube video and a link about the documentation of this, because this is actually letting you creating. If you search the documentation, you can find out that you can create your own components into the plugin. But I'm not gonna go about. I'm not gonna show you how at the moment, because it's just gonna take us too much time on doing this. But what I can do, I can show you the links. Maybe subscribe. Oops, my bad. The label is unsubscribe now, and the link can be https mysites.com/unsubscribe. And we're gonna come back to this when we're gonna do the unsubscribe link. But for the moment, let me save it as it is, and let me show you what those modifications that I did actually brought added to the Visual Composer.
Yeah.
So clicking here right now, you see we have special links, unsubscribe and unsubscribe. Now the trick right now is the fact that I can go into my template and I don't need to care. I don't need to remember my unsubscribe link. I can just go and maybe, let's say, add a new text box here at the end really quickly. And this is my new content. I can remove this and I can add my link automatically and subscribe now. And because it has the value, so it's a pre-built component here. Also, remember that we said that we need to add also the last name. So we can go to merge tags and we can add contact last name really quickly, and it's gonna pre-fill all the token for us. So we have small components that we can reuse. And for the content part, remember I've added a merge tags component, which is actually a dynamic component. I invite you to read the documentation to know how to define those special components. The documentation is very good on those, but I'm not going to go in more details about those. And I said earlier, let me click update like as it is at the moment. I said earlier that this is where is it? It also has a token. All those three components also have a merge tag token, so you can pass those dynamically from the database if you want to configure. So you can pass my tokens or any other token there, and if you pass the correct structure, the JSON structure, for example, I have here the special link structure. So if you are able to pass this array here into that token field, it's just going to create those for you, and you can actually manage those externally from in other entities, and after that they can automatically get added to your be-free template.
Radu, before moving forward, we have some question if you
Sure.
want to show it.
Sure.
From Jim Anthony. What action is the campaign name link using to show the expanded and preview the content in the list? So when you click, sure.
Let me actually show this. It's really quick. So I'm using the data source detail view. Data source detail view. You can find it under the data source in the action menu. And the content of it is a free HTML text that you can you can just create your own or use tokens that actually are columns from the grid. So what I'm doing right now, I'm bringing all my HTML in a column that I'm not actually displaying. I'm using the token and adding it into the data source detail view action, and this action does the trick on showing this below. Another thing that it's useful to mention about this is the fact that because on the mobile the default is a listing template. If I'm gonna make this my browser go into mobile, let me refresh really quickly. This is gonna transform to a pop-up, a small pop-up. So this is it's not gonna scroll below. It's gonna be a small pop-up, and you can actually see the template how it's gonna look on the mobile. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, what what are we missing right now? Well, we don't have any lists on my newly beautiful campaign that I've just created. So maybe I can, maybe I should go and add a list. You know, I can add from an existing list, the employees one, I think. Yeah, this can work. And going back to my campaign, what I can really quickly do is send a campaign. Just give it a few minutes. So it took actually 1 second. I think we sent around how many mails? 3 or 4 mails. And if I go to my inbox, let's see, I should have got the visual computer, the visual email. Maybe I should go to my old mail. I'm not sure if it went to spam or not. Notification here. Okay, so, well, seems like I did something wrong here. Didn't I send the proper template? This is weird. This is actually weird. Maybe it's something that I left by mistake in one of the send campaign workflows, and I can just go there and quickly check this. Send campaign, edit, and let's see which template am I actually sending here. So this is coming from the campaign template. Okay, so that means that I'm having the campaign here, which actually means that I'm actually I'm actually sending this workflow with some bad parameters. Here. Am I? Let's see. Send campaign. Let's execute send campaign. I'm sending with the ID of the. Well, with the ID of the campaign. Well, this is weird. This is weird. Am I? I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong.
Radu, actually, I got the right one. So
yeah, I see. Okay, so okay, not sure. I'm happy that you got that right. And so I will just assume that it's working, and I'm not really sure why I'm not getting the email. Maybe this was an older email that I never read from the last time. But yeah, you know, we can. If you got the right email, then that's fine. Now, another thing that most likely I'm going to start, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fully finish today, is creating templates. It's creating templates. So you, instead of each time going and starting from a, well, you know, let's say blank option right now, maybe, yeah, it has a default, but starting from a blank option because you have to redesign all the colors. You want, you know, you have different fonts and stuff like that. What you can do, what you can actually do is create some templates. So what we can do is create an entity to store templates. And each time we want to start a new campaign, we can have the option to start from scratch or use a predefined template that we already did, we did before of sending the email. So in doing that, I'm just gonna go back to the entities and really quickly create a new template entity. And it's nothing special about this. So I'm just gonna say email templates. Well, templates, okay. I'm not gonna bother with the icon right now. And well, the templates may need to have a name. They have to actually have the template and maybe, you know, the template JSON exactly. So exactly how we, well, JSON, exactly how the other one had. So the name needs to be text. The template, let's make it a large text because it's a lot of information under those two values. And I'm just gonna click the name to be, and that's it. Cool. Now going back to the website, I can see now I have an email template page. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to actually modify my template and those two fields to become a be-free plugin field. So I can go really quickly into the form. I will like to delete both of them and go and search for my be-free integration. The credentials are already set up. The UID will have to add again. I'm not gonna go again through the other settings except the initial value, which actually needs to be original, that template JSON. Okay, so letter template JSON. The name can be here template, and well, the title can be also template. For the add button, what I can do is, instead of having those two, I can just go exactly as I did the last time, a template HTML and template JSON. Well, token specified should be lowercase. And for now we handle the add button. We need to handle the update button as well. We need the name. We want the name, but this needs to be this, and this needs to be the HTML. And for the initial, I think we are fine. So if I click save really quickly, and another thing that I want to do is design a little bit on this form. So the template I wanted material. I want the field labels to be on the top of the fields, and I want this to be a pop-up that has an 80% white, and the title can stay as it is. I can click X, and now that if I should refresh really quickly, and if I click new. Oh, I think I need to rearrange the fields in the form. Okay, but yeah, we have the be-free here, so this is cool. So let's go back to the form and rearrange a little bit the fields. Maybe we want those on different rows. Let's put the template under the name, and maybe we can go to the edit mode and say that we want those buttons, the add and edit button, to be primary and on the center of the form. Also the same thing for the update button, center, save. Okay, and let's click on new again. This looks better already. So let's say this is a test for me. Okay, I'm just gonna, maybe first template, and I'm just gonna click on add. All right, so I have the template, but I see I don't have the template JSON, and this means if I have it also. Okay, so those columns are way too big, and I'm storing information that I don't really want to show in a normal grid. So I can go back to the listing and maybe remove those two columns and remove those two columns and go and add a detail button. Wait, where? Okay, detail. Well, view template makes more sense, and I can go and search for data source and detail view. In detail view, I can go for templates and click save. Go back, refresh the page, and I have my small name of the template, and I have a view template button that actually displays the HTML and the HTML code. Cool. Now, so we just created in less than, I think, 8 minutes a template entity that actually stores templates for us. And yes, we can come and edit those, and we can define the dynamic content that we want to happen here also, as we did in the last time here, like the contact contact, first name, and so on. So we have already prepared everything that we need. Maybe we just need to do smaller adjustment or even no adjustment at all. And now if we go back to the campaigns, we have to build something to choose if we want to start a new if we want to create a new campaign from scratch, or if we want to create a new campaign from a template. So for that, what I can do, I can add a new action form on the page that will have two big buttons, which is gonna, well, one button that's gonna say, I want to start from scratch, and I'm opening I'm opening the new campaign, the ad campaign form as usual. Otherwise, I can, the other one is gonna have a drop down from where I can choose the template that I want to start to, and I'm gonna pass the template ID to the ad campaign form, and it's gonna pre-populate with what we have already in the email templates. See, we are getting close to the end. So Bogdan, are there any questions while I'm doing the two button form?
There are maybe there is one question that would be more for me to answer, is about this B3 integration, if it's going to be included in the 1.8 release. So just searching for now, I realized that this is one of those integrations that we never released publicly. I think we had it for a while. We used it in our projects that we deliver for customers. So what will happen, we'll include it in 1.9 release for sure, especially as it ties well in the optional updates feature that we are adding to the one-click upgrade. So yes, it will be officially in the 1.9 release. In the meanwhile, if you need it, shoot us an email and we can set it up for you.
Okay. Cool. So if anyone has questions, it's gonna be a good moment. So what I'm gonna do here is not really that interesting. So feel free to ask questions. So yes, right now I'm gonna create a new dropdown, which is gonna let me select my email template. So I'm just gonna name it email template. And this email template dropdown is gonna have a data source of type SQL, and the SQL data source is gonna be select. Well, not everything. Well, I want the ID as a value, and the name as text from app.email templates. Having email templates here. Okay, so this is fine.
I think it's singular there, and also it's a space, so you have to put brackets.
No, it's no brackets.
Okay,
I'm sure, but yes, it's a singular. Every time I do those mistakes. So, and I need to add a new button, and the button is start, well, let's name it start. I'm out of imagination at this moment, and maybe make it full screen. Do the same thing that I did, so we can be consistent on our so we are consistent on our look and feel on the platform. Email all right, and let's see. Well, this needs to be actually a pop-up, so maybe I should set it up as a pop-up. The white it's enough. So choose how to start a new campaign. So I'm not sure. I know it's already the end. I'm not sure how much. I'm pretty sure I cannot edit this fast enough. So maybe we can finish it offline, and I can present you how we did it in the next episode.
Yeah. So I agree. We'll continue it offline, and we'll demo it next week. So thanks everyone for being here. We got some good feedback as well. From Jan Sharp. So if you allow me to read it out, I think it's very good feedback for people seeing this recording at a later time. I'm amazed how much work you all have put into this platform. Every time I attend the cafe, I see so many more features. So thanks a lot, Jen, for this wonderful feedback, and thanks a lot everyone for being here. As always, there will be a feedback form that really helps us improve. And also, like us, follow us, send us your love, and we'll send it back. Thank you and have a wonderful day or evening.